different time. Do you know the story? Do you know the story of the woman at the well? Just the story. The story. See, you got to know the story first. Do you know the 23rd Psalm? Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Do you know the story of that psalm? Do you know the story of the one that the Holy Spirit penned it through? Do you know the story of David? Do you know what he was going through at the time? Do you know that in the natural, he had a lot of wants because he was on the run from Saul? Here it is, the entire government, by the direction of Saul, is seeking to kill him. And here he is laying on a juniper tree saying, the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. You see that thing now? Do you know the story of the cross? Do you know the story of the judgment hall? Do you know the story that Jesus convicted himself? All he had to do was remain silent. He wouldn't have went to the cross, but he had to speak up for you and I. Do you? So the first thing, you want your faith to increase? Do you know the story? Well, let me stay here for a moment. I might not get to them other points. Y'all don't mind, huh? We're going to just preach it how the Lord give it to us, you know. Long time ago, I've always been preaching without notes and paper and all that kind of stuff. And I just let the Holy Spirit speak to me freely. I did that all over the United States. Been doing that for a long time. That's the way the Holy Spirit preaches through me. When I got burned some years ago, and I couldn't stand, and my legs were bothering me, so when I first started back preaching, you know, when I didn't stop, but, you know, I couldn't preach. Couldn't stand. And went and preached at a Baptist church, and I typed up the message. And I sent it over to print it out. And I had a disc or something to print it out, and I couldn't print it. That printer went where I said, Lord, what am I going to do? My legs hurt. I can't keep my focus. What am I going to do? And he said, you just going to preach. Do you know the story of your life? Not the supernatural, just the story. Do you know the story of your mother? Do you know the story of your father? Do you know the story? Now, you got to know the story. You can't make up the story. You have to know the story. Somebody needs to tell you the story about your granddaddy. Somebody needs to tell you the story. I know a lot about my father, and my father died when I was about 2.5 years of age. Every story about my father that I really, really have deep in my consciousness, it feels like my own story. But I got it from my grandmama. She told me them stories. So many stories after stories after story. I got it from my older sister. I got it from my other sister. Stories that they knew firsthand, that they felt like I needed to know the story. I go up to my grandmama's house, and folks who knew my dad, he'd been dead 10, 15 years, they just did the same pattern. Same pattern. Every time they say, oh boy, I remember your daddy. I mean, that was how they said hello to me. I remember your daddy. Hey, I just remember like now. Boy, your daddy. Every time I go up to my grandmama's house, and I went at least 2 or 3 weekends a month for years. And they tell me that story. Boy, your daddy. My grandmama, she cooked me biscuits and make me honey when I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She called me Sabra. She couldn't say the name. Sabra. Come on, Sabra. What you want to eat? She tell me them stories, man. I remember those stories. Do you know the story? All right, that's the first thing you got to hear. You got to hear the what? Story. Man, you got to hear the story. What's the first thing folks say? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You got to hear the story. Next one is, the next level of growth, you got to hear the supernatural in the story. Yes, sir. You got to see that thing.